What's good, everybody? Welcome into a glorious Football Friday right here in the universe. So those of you who are new, this is Driving the Line. We are live every single weekday on Stadium, wherever Stadium is, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube TV, Roku TV, the Stadium app, or watchstadium.com. Also simulcast for you OGs out there on our YouTube page. We have content all over the board. I am your host, the coach. We'll navigate over the course of the next 60 minutes. If you can't tune in at 10 a.m. on weekdays, we re-air at 4 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon. You can catch us there as well. Now, we also have DTL Primetime Live. And last night, my crew absolutely destroyed it. How about 19-6 overall and AB sweeping the board? The no-fly zone paid off in about 2 minutes in the game. Hashtag it pays to watch live. And look at Big Chuck. Are you kidding me? Around 6 out of 7. DG 2 in a row. Let's go. That's the kind of momentum we're talking about heading into a big football weekend. Now, content. Oh, we got your content. The best way to go about making sure you don't miss one single second, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications. Follow all of my guys on social media. We've got you covered. You see it right there. It's amazing. Also, every single weekday, we have a fresh podcast. It's not the audio from the morning show. No. It's a fresh 20 or 30 minutes every single day. Today will be all college football. That drops around 2 p.m. Eastern time. And for you premium members out there, and I encourage you to join right now. It's the best value in the game. You get the video of said podcast every single day as well. Now, I just told you this man swept the board last night. So he is fired up on a Football Friday. Let's bring in my partner, my five-tool player, AB. Got to be feeling pretty good, AB. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Yeah, last night was great, but great for the whole crew. And, I mean, look, the run that Big Chuck and DG are on right now is incredible. And that's not a slight to anybody else, but, I mean, what those two do, man, it's huge.
We just stay out of their way. They stay out of their way. John, I'm wearing a Cowboys hat because I got about 1,000 hats. I just grabbed one. I'm not thinking about the hat. I'm thinking about the crew. I'm thinking about the show. I'm thinking about the picks. Now, by the way, AB, if people tune in live last night, you know that points band little game that we played? We nailed that too.
Oh,
30s
yeah.
and 20s. You did.
Yeah.
3 of us. So
solid.
That was nice. That was like plus 275, plus 185, I think. So that was nice. That was nice. But you know what? As much as I like looking backwards, I also like looking forwards. And today we've got the Howie Schwab Crew Play of the Day. What are the selections, AB?
All right, going to Major League Baseball. Game 5 decider here.
Woo!
Who's going to the NLCS to face the Mets? All right, got the Padres, money line plus 120. Dodgers, money line minus 140. Padres-Dodgers over 7.5. Or you going to under 7.5. Polls in the chat. Vote now. Update as we always do at the end of the show.
It's all anything is talking about out here on the West Coast is this game right here. It is dominating the beginning of the newscast, the middle, and the end. Also, Penn State, USC. We've got a ton of college football coming up in about 30 minutes after the bottom of the hour. So we got a ton of content. But we also, AB, have the best crew in the game. And they are chomping at the bit. So without further ado, it is time for the picks. Now, I encourage all of you to hit that like button on the way in if you're watching on our YouTube page. And I have a dilemma this morning. So, AB, you need to settle it for me. Is 2-0 better than 6 out of 7 when it comes to who gets the first 15 seconds of the show?
You know what? I'm always one for a big profit night. Give me a 6 out of 7.
Oh, okay. Sit there and wait, DG. The 15 seconds today goes to our man from the dirty 6 out of 7. Big Chuck, it's yours.
Morning, Coach Crew. Yeah, but it's a team effort. So, yeah, a big shout out to AB sweeping. Zaslow swept also. So, yeah, and then we hit the band. So, big shout out to DG. So, yeah, team effort. That's the beautiful thing about this brands. You know, we're all running good. Someone's running good. We're going straight ahead. If someone's off, to pick us up. So, nothing better.
And we always say synergy. DJ. All right, how about a 1B on the 15 seconds? He's live from Memphis, Tennessee. Good morning, DJ.
Morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. I saw a comment about a week ago. It said, did these guys ever win? Buddy, I just went 15 in a row. I'm about to go on vacation. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend, but I might not just care after next week. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to end this thing. We're going to ride off to the sunset for our vacation. So maybe we'll make it 20-0.
Usually people that write those comments are the ones that drop in for a day and then they're gone and they go do something else and they come back, and they're not the OGs. They're not. As our audience has grown day by day and it's gigantic now, you're going to have your ups and downs, but we have way more ups than we do downs. Thank you, DG. Now, Football Fridays, this man's bread and butter. We've got fantasy. We've got a little something from Prize Picks later today. He's got the best beard in the game. Big Soupy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I went 3 for 4 in my Prize Pick props for last night, so I'm going to bring that momentum to you guys a little bit later.
I like it a lot. I like that energy. All right, let's get it going this morning because normally, it is called Football Friday, but when you got Major League playoffs and you've got Game 5 today and then also tomorrow, Tigers and Guardians, Game 5, this has been unbelievable. So, AB, I'm going to let you start, big boy, today. Start us off on the right foot. Let's go.
All right. And the over 4.5. Sorry, it hits mute when you hit the transition slide to the third and the larger. You see
all
this?
Good, baby.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna go Dodgers money line and over 4.5 here. I think the Dodgers win this game. The Padres certainly have been the hotter team, but I feel like the Dodgers picked this thing up. And Mookie Betts, nobody's talking about him. This dude's hit a home run literally in every game. Had one robbed from him. Almost had another one the next night. But Mookie's been on fire. And, we got an excellent pitching matchup tonight. But these guys have seen him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll get back to your college football in a second. But we're going to start with baseball. The Dodgers at home. How do you pick against them? So I like putting that together and getting that number to be a much better number than you can get if you play that straight. All right, AB, I'll get back to you, big boy. Normally we do the 5-pack at the bottom, but we've got a big international break going on. So, Big Chuck, you get to be a part of the A's today, sir. Give me your 2.
Yeah, Nations League continues with Ukraine, who average 1 goal at home, and they concede 1 goal at home, while Georgia, not the Bulldogs, they average 1.4 team goals on their own away from home, and they concede 2.2 team goals away from home in 2024. The both teams to score has cashed in 8 of these countries' last 11 combined matches, so we're going to make it official. Both teams to score. I see a 1-1 at worst. I also like Georgia first half team total over half a goal. They've scored in the first half in 6 of their last 7 first halves and 8 of 10. And once again, this goes off in the Nations League.
I love that Nations League. Just scroll down. It's usually in a different spot, but you'll find it depending on what book that you use. All right, Big Super, you talk about momentum. And very quietly, Penn State has moved up to number 4 in the country. We'll talk about the complete game coming up in about 30 minutes. But USC hosting that classic Big Ten rivalry matchup at home. Penn State and USC. Let's go.
I love Death Valley to LA. They hate each other. It's just how it is. Penn State, this is about that time when they just completely fold. It's one of those games that's a big game, and we know James Franklin doesn't know how to handle them. Big Ten teams are 1-7 against the spread when they travel to time zones.
Wow.
This weekend, and James Franklin and this team, they're kind of out of a little bit of their routine. They traveled yesterday for this game, and they didn't normally travel out of their normal airport. They travel out of a different airport. I think all that is going to play a factor. Plus, I love this USC secondary. I think they hold down Drew Allen. If they could just leave it to Nick Singleton, if they could hold him down, make Drew Allen have longer third down conversions, I think that USC can pull off this win.
Would you like to do your second place, sir?
Yes, I would, because it's going to be a deciding game. I think the Dodgers are going to win too, but it's going to be a higher scoring game. Yamamoto gave up 5 earned against the Padres in the last game. And Yu Darvish, they did get some hits off them. They were able to get some big at-bats. I think they play a little better in this game. I'm going with the over 7.5.
Yeah, he's really good at home, but historically, Yu Darvish has not been as good on the road. The splits are not good. By the way, very important crew member in the chat right now, our man Rafael Esparza. He says, keep an eye out for UNLV tonight. There are 3 college football games tonight on the road. The Running Rebels are 10-1 against the spread. Grab it because we could see -20 as a road favorite. Hashtag it pays to watch live. Now, DG, you're getting all kinds of love in the chat. And my man John also says the cash window. John, it's the pay window. Was busy last night with DG. All right, big boy. Hottest capper in the game. You get to go last.
Yeah, let's take this to the cash window. We're going to go with Clemson over 7.5 first quarter team total. It's at +110. What that means is, yes, it is over the touchdown number, but we saw this last night with Western Kentucky. All we need is 8+ points. We're going to go Clemson over that number because they're averaging 18. Wake allows 10. Easy enough. Over 7.5 first quarter team total +110. Then let's go to the NFL on Sunday at DeAndre Swift over 17.5 receiving yards. It's at -110. Jacksonville allows the second most receiving yards to the running back position. He's also had 22+ receiving yards in the last 4 games. DeAndre Swift over 17.5 receiving yards at -110. And my last one, my guy, coach, your guy, coach, Jaden Daniels over 224.5 passing yards. It's at -114. Baltimore allows the most passing yards. He's had 226 in the last 4 games. But the reason is because Baltimore's not bad. Sometimes they're leading and you're having to chase. But also, I just think they're overall, I think Jaden Daniels is going to be passing it because they're not going to be able to run much on Baltimore.
Yeah, they're getting 6 in the Beltway brawl or whatever they call it. Speaking of that, our man Seabass, he is now in the chat. Do you have any question for him? Put them in there in real time. Now, real quick, while we have a second. Oh, by the way, for those people who don't know, we got some new bettors. DeAndre Swift plays for who, DG?
Chicago Bears.
Thank you. Chicago Bears, who are on fire right now. Caleb Williams really finding his feet. We'll talk about them coming up in about 6 to 7 minutes right now. But AB, I want to real quick while we have a couple of minutes, because not everybody tunes in to Primetime Live. Last night, we cashed tickets in like 1 or 2 minutes. Everything, you hit your longest completion. Why do you think everything kind of fit into the way we analyzed it on the show last night?
The game script worked out exactly how we thought that it would. San Francisco gets out to a lead, and then they force Seattle to play from behind. And I'll go ahead and tell you this. What you saw last night, if you're prepping for the NFL this weekend, Dallas and Detroit, which we'll talk about later on, that is the exact same game.
That's a tease, ladies and gentlemen. That's a tease. DG, let me come over to you. I got about 45 seconds or so. You've been red hot. What have you seen? Because it's not luck at all. What have you seen, especially last night as we head into another big show on Sunday night, Bengals and Giants?
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot in the NFL that you're starting to see the injuries play into this. And so you kind of got to look at matchups a little bit more than maybe you would in the past. But matchups are key. You look at tendencies with these teams. And so just overall in the scope of the entire NFL, look at these matchups and how they really play, because these defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators are playing into their tendencies now, and you can play off of that.
Yeah, certainly. And now we're starting to get into bye weeks. There's a lot of things that now at home, we say it all the time. Do you want to do the work? But now you really got to do the work, because there could be bye weeks in week 4, which is bananas to me. And also there's bye weeks, I think, as late as week 14. So there's a lot of things. You got to be smart. You got to tune in every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, or re-aired at 4 p.m. Eastern time, especially on Football Fridays. All right, coming up next, we dive into everything NFL. The lines have been moving all week long. Also, Soupy's got his fantasy sits, his fantasy plays, and then in about 18 minutes, we got a full plate of prize picks. We're just getting started on Football Friday, live on Stadium. All right, all of you degenerates out there that continue to watch us here on YouTube, thank you very much. AB, the Yankees beat the Royals last night, and they move on to the American League Championship Series. And so the dream season for the Royals is done, but now the Yankees look forward. They don't know who they're going to play. It's Game 5 tomorrow. Tigers, Guardians. Who do you think is a better matchup for the Yankees?
The Guardians, because they can score runs, right? Not that they've been scoring a ton, but Detroit is that good pitching wise. They can limit you there. But yeah, I mean, I think anybody I want to see Detroit. They're awesome, but you gotta get more runs, man. It's just too tough for them.
You got to get more runs. And DG, Skubal now is scheduled. Instead of being able to go game 1 against the Yankees, they were unable to win last night, 5-4 tight one. So now they got to use him game 5. That could really set them back if they're able to win on the road.
Yeah, it could definitely set them back because you only get him to pitch really one time in the next series if for some reason they do get past it. And so I'm curious what that looks like, but I think that you have to go with your ace here. Scubal's been red hot, and so I expect the Tigers to come out on top of this game.
Jared says, Skubal time. And that's the thing, Soupy. When you get to the playoffs, you can't say, you know what, let's take a chance and let's sit him because there may not be a tomorrow. The Tigers have been the best story, but are they the best matchup for the Yankees?
I actually think they are because of the Tigers' offense. It is not as good. And the Yankees, finally, the pitching has done what it's been needing to do. Luke Weaver has been a great closer. Got a 5-out save opportunity in game 4 and got the save again in game 5. And the bullpen is doing better. They need that pitching to handle Tigers' pitching.
I got about 15 seconds, Big Chuck. Your take on the Yankees. Who should they play?
Yeah, I would think the Guardians a better matchup, plus their bullpen. They can score a few more runs. The Tigers only have the one starter, then it's all bullpen games. So, yeah, I think Guardians is a better overall matchup.
Yeah, and they also have, they have more players that have been to this time of the year. Tigers, a lot of them brand freaking new. All right, we're about to come back. It's all things NFL. I hope you have your paper. I hope you have your pen, because we're getting ready to dive in. Also, your fantasy sits and fades. We're back on Stadium in 3 seconds. All right, welcome back. We are live on Stadium. Wherever you find Stadium, you will find us. I'm your boy, the coach. By the way, shout out. Thank you, everybody, for watching the interview with Chris Van Vliet. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I really appreciate the love all day yesterday. Now, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, Stadium app, we're everywhere. And right now, it's all things NFL. And AB, it is a big week 6. And those are the featured games. But I kind of want to go everywhere because people like betting literally on every single game. And Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m., and if you guys want to hit on these, that's great. But my focus is on the first game on Sunday, AB, the Bears. They've looked great. DJ Moore's been on fire. Caleb Williams looks like the number 1 pick in the draft. According to ESPN Bet, they're only favored by 1 over Jacksonville. Why such a low number?
They're playing in London, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Jacksonville. That's their second home.
Home.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville plays 2 games in London, and they've been doing this for a while. So that's why you see it there. It's tough enough for a rookie QB throwing a London game. All right. That's a lot of travel. You got to go there a week in advance. It's a lot of movement, man. And Trevor Lawrence, he's been doing this. I mean, hell, he's got an apartment over there. He's good to go.
He's running in, drops his bags, all good.
Yeah.
Pets the dog. DG, come over to you. When I used to travel to Europe, we'd go twice a year for 10 days at a time. It would take me 2 or 3 days to really acclimate myself to the food, to the time zone, all of that. So to AB's point, for a rookie and a lot of these new young players, they're 3-2. But how do they overcome that and really focus on the game?
Yeah, I think that jet lag is for sure real, and everybody that's been over there just understands it. But I think it's all about the start. If you can get off to a hot start, usually all that kind of goes in the back of your mind. But man, if you start out slow, that just it creeps into your mind like, all right, well, this is jet lag. We'll push past it, and then you can never get out of that, and you feel like you're just running in sand. And so I think that they're going to get off to a better start. I think they're going to get some short passes, some completions, and get some momentum going, the flow of the game going.
Our girl Tina says Bears will surprise everyone. How crazy AB and DG were? Oh, I guess Charles too. How crazy was Tina in the club last night?
Well, first off, happy birthday to Tina. So, yeah,
snap, that's right.
Absolutely, happy birthday. And yeah, I mean, look, we had a cake. All right, it was a nice time.
I saw her dancing on the bar a couple of times.
If you know, you know.
Doesn't sound fun to me.
They don't know, Charles.
Yeah,
doesn't sound
Soupy.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they don't know. If you know, you know. Stop it. By the way, Eclipse says we get in the Chuck 5-pack again this week. No, you get a 2-pack, and we just did it 5 minutes ago because it's on an international break. But thanks for asking. Every Friday when they're playing, you'll get the 5-pack after the bottom of the hour. Now, let's move to one of the games that's on our incredibly attractive graphic screen. And this, to me, arguably, Soupy, is the game of the week. With all due respect to the Lions and the Cowboys, but this is where we see Jaden Daniels really show out. He's publicly said, I don't like the comparison to Lamar Jackson. And the numbers now move to 7. It was at 6 all week. It's moved to 7, 51.5. Is this the true coming out party for Jaden Daniels?
I think we've already seen the coming out party for Jaden Daniels, man. He has been electric to watch with a team that we didn't think was going to be any good. The defense isn't any good. The offensive line is not good, but he has been making it work. I'm not going to take the spread because there is a chance that Baltimore could get that 2-touchdown lead. But I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, just how Baltimore and Cincinnati played last week. So I'm looking for that more than anything else.
There's been a lot. We're going to have Soupy's sits and fades coming up in about 5 minutes, by the way. Big Chuck, the Lamar Jackson MVP talk is already starting, but they're 3-2. They've scored a lot of points. They looked awful at times. I don't know which Ravens team we're going to see, but is Lamar Jackson playing? And 7's a big number, like the MVP.
He's definitely come on, and I think that after this game, he'll probably even get more mentions. So I definitely like the Ravens in this spot. You know, Commanders coming in. I'm never a fan of public dogs, so you know everybody's on the Commander bandwagon. So I think we see plenty of points. I think that the Ravens put a little spank into them Commanders, and then I would look at the Ravens team total also. Lamar probably has a big game running and passing.
Oh, a little spanking, he says. John says in the chat, Ravens are a problem for Washington. And this is a good point. Only team that gets to practice and prepare against a quarterback with a similar skill set. That's got to help. Now, AB, let me come over to you because the featured 425 game is the Lions and the Cowboys. Any other week, this would have a big old bright light as the game. Both playoff teams a year ago. The Lions arguably should have beat the 49ers. They had a big lead. They didn't get it done. The Cowboys got blown out by the Packers in the same playoffs. But it's interesting. They're coming off a last-second win in Pittsburgh. But now Detroit comes in, and they're favored by 3 on the road, which means if they were playing in Detroit, it would be a 6 or 7 point spread. Is this number right?
It is right. Dallas better start quickly because the biggest problem that teams like Dallas have are playing teams that are unbelievably balanced. And that's what Detroit is. They can throw the football on you. Jared Goff literally just went perfect the other night. They can run the football on you. They can use tight ends. They can play defense. They can do everything. And like we saw last night, all right, that's the same style of game that you're going to see. All right, if the game script goes accordingly, all right, Detroit will play with a lead, and you'll see Dak Prescott throw it. Did you see the pass attempts last night? Geno Smith at 51. Wow. All right.
You said that. You said that.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what you're going to see out of Detroit and Dallas. So go ahead and get you know the props to play for Dak Prescott. All right. Interceptions and rush attempts. But yeah, man, like Detroit, they're a beast because they're just balanced. And it is tough to beat somebody who has good looks and money. And that's what balanced is, buddy. It's tough to beat both of them.
Oh, AB, I didn't know you were going to describe me this morning on the show. Thank you very much. By the way, the nice thing about starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday at DTL Primetime Live on Stadium is that games like this, we get to sweat live as we're starting the show for Sunday Night Football. So this game will be front and center during the show live. Let me come over to you, DG, because the Cowboys, this is a rubber meets the road. I mean, they escaped in Pittsburgh the week before, escaped against the Giants, scoring 20 in each game. They've got to do better.
Yeah, they definitely got to do better. And honestly, I think they're 0-2 at home this year. So this could be an 0-3 spot for a team that plays well at home for the most part. I can see Dak just kind of, saying, hey, we're not going to run the ball. We'll be able to dump the ball out a little bit more and also push the ball up the field just a little. But overall, I think this plays into the fact that AB breaks the game down so much better than a lot of people realize. And I didn't realize, honestly, just following him for so long, what he actually does to process and work this in. So anytime he's talking about how the game is going to play out, please trust him, because this will be a game where Detroit gets out early and then Dallas will claw back. They could cover, but realistically, I think this game plays out exactly how AB's explaining it.
And that's why you have really good nights, because you have to lean into a game script. We have to lean into what AB and you and Soupy are saying, and then the picks have to reflect that. They have to reflect that. Well done, DG. All right, this is the time of the show that every single Friday you get your fantasy plays and your fantasy sits. Big Soupy, coming over to you, big boy. Who do you like this week?
I'm going to start with Chase Brown on Sunday Night Football against the Giants. No Zach Moss, possibly might play, but he is banged up. Brown has gotten 15 touches in his last 2 games. He had 2 explosive plays last week, which is 10 yards or more on a rush. Giants have allowed the 3rd highest explosive plays this year. I think it's going to be a big game for Brown. And Tucker Kraft, 14 targets, 141 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, going against Arizona, who just allowed George Kittle to go off with 60 yards and a touchdown. Take him tonight. And then my sits, let's go to London. Trevor Lawrence, he had a nice game last week, 20 fantasy points, but he's averaging 12.2 in all the other games. The Bears secondary is great. And it's a London game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, so I'm fading him this week. And then Rico Dowd against the Lions. Lions are allowing the fewest rushing yards and fewest receiving yards to the running back. I think that the Lions get out to an early lead, and then it's going to be all passing for Dak, taking Dowdle out of the game script.
Quick question from the chat. Big Cheesy says Daniel Jones should be on your starts list, Soupy. He plays Sunday night at home against Cincinnati. Why isn't he?
Because it's Daniel Jones. I just don't know what type of game we're going to see from him. Yeah, he played great against Seattle last week. It just matters that can he exploit the bad Cincinnati secondary, and still no Malik Neighbors. He's still in concussion protocol. I like Tyrone Tracy better than I like Devin Singletary. Let's hope they run it with Tracy. So I don't know if Daniel Jones will play as big of a factor this week.
All right, very good. You get your starts and sits every single week here on Football Friday around 10:25 a.m. Eastern time. AB, so our girl Tina, she's just shooting shots. She's shooting strays. She says, I don't know about that graphic. Something tells me Soupy doesn't have that much hair on the top of his head.
When I get into the club, there's no hats. So maybe when I get into the club, you'll see.
Oh, wow. Wow. I didn't say that, guys. I don't want any of that smoke. I don't want any of that smoke. Do we think Soupy has that kind of hair on top of his head? AB?
What did DJ call? What did DJ? I don't know his name. What did he say a couple weeks ago?
Oh, you're hat fishing us.
Yeah,
Hat fishing. Hey, big shout out to Robert. Just send in the super chat at $20. Robert, thank you. You are the man.
Yeah,
absolutely the man.
We'll put that to good use. Wow. I learn something every single day. I didn't even know you could do that, but we're growing. Thank you, Robert. Very nice. Very nicely done. Don't worry about it. A lot of you guys like to play in different places. Coming up on the other side of the break, my man, Big Soupy, he's got his prize picks. And last week, my man swept the board. Now, it's not straight fantasy, but it's very, very similar. He will describe it, and he will show you on the other side of the break. Plus, it's a big weekend in college football. Z-Man, member of the crew, he is on ESPN Radio all weekend. Saturday, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas State Fair, number 1. But should Texas be number 1, will they leave with a win, or will it be their first loss? An SEC matchup. It's DTL in the morning, live on Stadium. We continue on here on our YouTube page, and I know, AB, it's Football Friday, but the NBA has started, the NHL has started. We talked about some baseball already, but it's a big father-son topic lately. And word just came out that Carlos Boozer, who I worked with at ESPN, his son, or excuse me, the Boozer brothers have picked Duke. So now you got a former All-American and his kids. Does Duke still have the cachet that they used to have?
Oh, yeah. It's Duke, man. They'll always have it for sure. And, on top of that, it's a great school, too. So you're going to win either way. Either way, you win when you go to Duke.
It's amazing, DG, that when you've got a father, I wonder if there was any other options. Like when you get this level of offers, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. But when your dad was an All-American at Duke, what do you think that conversation was like around the dinner table during the recruiting?
I think they let them decide on their own, but they're like, hey, please pick Duke. Like, that's his alma mater. But honestly, like as a father to your kid, you're like, hey, this is where I'd go. This is where I believe in. But kind of forge your own path. And I know you know the same thing. It just go and do your own thing.
Yeah, my kid, Big Chuck, he wants to go to Texas to play golf because Jordan Spieth went there. I said, you got some work to do, as do the Boozer brothers. Do you like this, the father-son dynamic now?
Oh yeah, Duke's probably the best place. They probably grew up. That's all they saw is Duke memorabilia around the house. So it's probably been ingrained in them. He didn't probably have to say anything. They probably just wanted to go there on their own. So yeah, I love their choice. Plus they can ball out. I'd be interested to see how long they stay.
Yeah, AB, go.
So there were 5 schools that recruited both of the twins, okay? So they're from Miami. So you got Florida, all right, didn't go. All right, then you've got Miami, didn't go. Kentucky and Arkansas went after them. All right, so you got Kentucky and then John Calipari over at Arkansas, but the boys were going to Duke. Nice day when you could pull in the number 2 and number 21 player in the country. Solid recruiting day.
God, 2 top 25 guys in the same house. And Calipari calling them from Lexington, buys a new house, calling them from Arkansas too. We're back on Stadium. Thank you, AB, in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, all of you OGs out there having a good morning. Nice live number today. Thank you very much for that. For those of you watching on our YouTube, please hit that like button when you come in. Make it a part. Just come in, hit the like button, and just start chatting away. It severely helps the show grow every single day. Now, we just talked about NFL. We're going to get to college football in just a second. But there is a new, exciting, it's brand new this year, but boy, is it taken off, and it's Prize Picks. We just happen to have somebody who has Prize Picks on his paycheck, and his name is Big Soupy. Now, you swept the board last Friday, the first time we did this, so why wouldn't we do it 2 Fridays in a row? What do you like today, sir?
I rode Lamar Jackson as my demon pick last week. A demon pick is a harder one, but it can get you 100 times multiplier. I rode him with my demon pick last week. I'm doing it again because he's going against the Commanders, and the Commanders have allowed the most passing yards. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, 50 and over, no doubt, Lamar Jackson. And then what Brandon Aubrey is, he's one of the most important players on the Dallas offense because he shortens the field. He can hit from 55 yards and out. He's hit a 65-yarder this week. So if Dallas gets into the Lions zone, they can kick it, and he's going to get at least 2 field goals today, this week. And David Montgomery, we talked about the Dallas defense. They are banged up at the front line. Montgomery is going to be able to run the ball, but he can also catch it. He has over 30 receiving yards in 2 of the last 3 games. So I feel like even with Jamari Gibbs in the backfield, Montgomery is going to be able to get this over 70 receiving and rushing yards.
Can you imagine when they were describing Prize Picks, AB, and they're saying, hey, let's call something, I don't know, a goblin. No, let's go with demon. Let's go with, and yet it made it through all of those levels. And now, I mean, it's one of the biggest things in the country.
It is, and look, it fits the perfect time. It's spooky season, right? So we got demons and goblins. Also, Soupy said in the Lions zone, we got to start calling it the Lions Den. That's what we have to call it right there. And finally, in the chat, look, we always have our man, Randall Mims. Mama Mims is in the chat today, too. So shout out to the lumber queen herself, Mims Force One.
I bet she brings the hammer down at the office. You don't talk to Mama Mims, or you don't back talk to Mama Mims. Who are you kidding? Shout out, respect, Mama. We love you here at DTL. All right, Subi, good luck on those prize picks 3-pack. All right, college football, big weekend, and we're still about DG 3 weeks away from the first playoff rankings coming out. But we had, 6 SEC teams in the top 10 until they all seemingly laid an egg last week. Alabama goes down. Missouri goes down, falls all the way to 21. Alabama falls to 7. Your Hoosiers, though, that could be a sneaky playoff team, they're off this week. But the number 1 team in the country, they've been chugging right along. And I'm talking about Texas. They're the middle game right there. They're no longer an 11 a.m. local time start. They are in the afternoon, which I think will help with the energy and the crowd and the state fair, the total sitting at 49. But should they be a 14-point favorite?
Yes, they should. And Quinn Ewers is coming back this week. And so I'm curious if Oklahoma can keep up. It's not that Texas isn't, that dominant. It's just that Oklahoma, on their starting quarterback, they're having issues. Like they went away from their starter at the early of the season, and now they're going with their backup. And so they haven't been scoring as well as they should be. And so that 14 obviously scares me, but I think this Texas team could run away with Oklahoma in this game.
Wow, AB, I hear what DG's saying, and he's one of our college football experts, but that just seems in a rivalry such a big number, and I kind of have a vision in my head that you get to the third quarter and it's like 21-20, and then maybe they just boom, boom, and all of a sudden they're by 15. That's how I see this playing out. That's how fast Texas can score.
It is. Now, first off, nothing says an SEC rivalry game like walking around Fort Worth eating a deep fried pumpkin, all right? That's what the SEC is, but while DG is correct in everything he just said, playing this game, go look at how Tennessee played Oklahoma. And that was, we score 20 points, and we know you can't. So it might be Texas saying, we don't have to score 50. We just don't think that you can score 20. And Oklahoma's on a backup quarterback, a running quarterback. All right. They've got wide receiver injury issues. It's a rivalry game, but be careful with that one because Tennessee laid a blueprint on exactly how to beat Oklahoma, and Texas might do the same thing, especially with a quarterback coming off of injury. The last thing you want to do is hurt him again.
Yeah, you don't want that. Did you say burnt pumpkin?
No. Deep fried pumpkin.
Oh, deep fried pumpkin. I've never had that either. Wow. You got deep fried everything at the state fair. Just walk around the corner. You'll get something deep fried. All right. I know, Big Chuck, you live down in this area. By the way, shout out. It looks like the hurricane has moved through. So hopefully if you're watching from that area, you guys are safe. But in the Southeast, this is a big one. Ole Miss, they have stubbed their toe. But it looks like Lane Kiffin got it right. Now they're favored by 3 in the dreaded Hook in Death Valley. LSU playing better every single week. Big Chuck, what do you see?
The LSU getting points at home as a home dog, you rarely ever see that. Plus, they have the memory of the hottie toddies storming the field last season when they beat LSU. So I'm sure they put that on the chalkboard all week. Brian Kelly, you had to use that for a little bit of a momentum going into this game. But I think we're going to more see of a defensive battle. I know it's a 62-63 around there, but yeah, I think we're going to see a defensive battle, which that'll actually benefit LSU. I think at the lower scoring that they can keep it will benefit them. But anytime you're catching 3.5 for LSU at home, you have to look at that. So I would definitely look at that in the under.
I think there's always a misconception when you're talking about Lane Kiffin that they're always an over team, Charles. And they aren't. Last year, they had a lot of unders that, he's a smart head coach, but he's aggressive. So you get these numbers right here, and a lot of it's because of LSU at 62. Super, let me come over to you because I mentioned at the top of the show that number 4 Penn State quietly getting into the top 5. It's hard. I've been to State College many, many times. I had a big race there once, famous in WWE lore. It's hard to get there. There's not really an airport. So to get to LA and USC, who has not been playing good the last couple of weeks, what do you see in this one? I know you've kind of had your eye on it.
What I'm seeing is I love the USC secondary. I can't believe that we actually are seeing a good defense from them this year, and it's playing much better than the offense. But Miller Moss and that offense have played Michigan and Minnesota the last couple of weeks. Penn State, very, very good, but I just think that time zone travel is going to affect them big time. I think Moss has a better game. I think the defense holds down Drew Aller, and I think they could sneak away with the win or at least cover.
Say that stat one more time. 1-7 when teams what?
1-7 when Big Ten teams travel at least 2 time zones.
Wow. When Big Ten teams travel at least 2 time zones. And now we've got a few teams that are part of the Big Ten. So keep that stat in mind. Now, AB, big one for you this weekend. And despite the loss, and you guys are up 14-3 and could literally do nothing the rest of the game, but you only fall to 8. And you're favored by 14 and a hook against your big-time rival Florida. They're 3-2. You're 4-1. 7 o'clock Saturday night against ESPN or on ESPN. Break it down for me.
So the problem with Tennessee last week against Arkansas, it's not that they couldn't do anything. They didn't try anything. Josh Heupel went with the same game plan against Oklahoma and used it against Arkansas, and it didn't work. And that's where he's getting a ton of questioning from is what the hell were you thinking, right? Like, you've got one of the best offenses in the country. Use it. So he got that loss, and he's been catching hell all week for it.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah, because it made no sense. It absolutely made 0 sense. Arkansas is slaw, man. Like, I respect to him, but, dude, it didn't make any sense. So that's why we've already bet the first quarter of Tennessee, Florida over 12.5 because Florida will score on Tennessee too. Like I've seen this series. Let me put it this way. Peyton Manning never beat Florida. Florida has owned this series for a long time. Doesn't matter how good Tennessee is. Florida has done well. So I don't ever put a guarantee on a damn thing on this game. They'll both score for sure.
Nobody knows this game, this team, first quarter bets better than my man AB, so pay attention. Now, the game of the day, at least when you're talking about rankings, DG, we're right there, right at the top. Oregon at home against Ohio State. The line of the year, the best team that $20 million can buy. And now they've got to go on the road to a place that if I was a kid, I would go to Oregon. They have the best facilities, everything in the country. But this is a top 3 matchup. Who's the better team, sir?
The better team, I think, is Ohio State. But that doesn't mean that they always win. I think that Oregon playing at home really is a team that we have to watch. If for some reason this game gets off to a sluggish start, I think that favors Oregon for sure. But if Ohio State can get out early, I think they can control the game. So I would go with Oregon. I think they're the better team.
So Oregon at home, Soupy, is 3-point dogs. That's rare when you're a number 3 team in the country. That shows how much respect the books have for Ohio State. Is the number right?
I think it is. It's going to be a very close game. It's going to be a very fun game. Finally, Oregon is playing. Their offensive line is playing a lot better than it did at the start of the season. I think that's going to help. It's helping Dylan Gabriel, who started a little slow. They need to get the offensive going, the running game going. But Ohio State just does everything right. They can play defense. They can play offense. And I don't think we've seen everything from them yet. We haven't seen a lot of running from Will Howard. He can run. I think that's going to also play a big factor. So I think we're going to see some new things from Ohio State, but I still think that Oregon can win and cover this game.
I got about 25 seconds, Big Chuck. Ohio State is working like they're not super flashy because of their quarterback, but they are good. Your take?
Yeah, they're definitely good, but I like Oregon at home catching 3. I definitely like that spot. I was kind of conflicted. Originally, I thought we may see a lower scoring game, but I think we may see some points as this week goes on. So, but yeah, I definitely like Oregon at home catching 3.
Only on DTL in the morning will you get this in the chat. Mama Mims made me and Little Mims corn dogs. Where else are you going to get that? AB, is that true?
It's very true. And we ate them together. Look, it put mustard on them. They were 5-star. The corn dogs were phenomenal. Mama
Like
Mims
Gino.
made sliders last night, ate 6 of them.
That is not shocking at all. Still to come, we recap everything and look ahead. It's DTL Football Friday on Stadium. All right, for all of you degenerates out there, we continue on our YouTube page. We're going to dive into this topic more next week, but it came out late yesterday. And AB, you're part of a collective at Tennessee, and I'm shocked that Kendrick Perkins, who is on ESPN, is a part of this situation, but basically a new company that is going to high school kids and want a part of their NIL money, and then they pay them back apparently when they get that NIL money. Do you like the initial look of this?
No, this is a predatory loan. I don't like anything to do with this, right? And they're talking about charging, and you had the grip on this story. It was what, 10 to 50%
Correct.
of their total NIL earnings, and it's a contract for up to 7 years. Yuck. I don't like anything to do with this. Now, essentially what Perk is doing is what agents have done with college players forever, right? Saying, okay, look, you're going to be a first-round pick, all right? You're getting out of college. You don't have any money, so I'm going to pay for first-class NFL training all summer. I'm going to get you a suit, chain, looking good at the draft, all of that. Agents have done that, and there's nothing really wrong with that. I mean, that's just part of the game. But go back to LeBron when he was in high school. Remember that big Hummer that he had when he was driving around? Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and I'm not blaming LeBron. Like, I'm just saying, like, this game's been around for a while, but what Perk is doing, not a good look.
DG, I got about 30 seconds. We're just getting into this. We'll talk a lot more about it, but I don't like this at all, especially when you're talking 10 to 50% of NIL money.
No, it's gross, honestly, and it's the Perkins cash advance. Is this what he's going to call this this company? Because honestly, all it's doing is saying, "Hey, we see that you have the ability to make money, but we want to set you up early so you have the chance to develop your skills." Nah, bro, you're just trying to take advantage of these kids, and I get it. It's business, but at the end of the day, like, you gotta just have morals. In my opinion, I don't think there's morals here.
It's crazy. I was at ESPN for 10 years, and there's certain things that they just wouldn't allow you to do. A lot of the rules have changed, but I'm shocked that he didn't go to ESPN and they said, no, you can't be a part of this if you want to work here. Maybe he did. I don't know, but this is an interesting story. We'll get more into it. We're back on Stadium in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back. A beautiful morning. Great live number on Stadium on YouTube. Do not forget, Sunday morning, we take everything into account at 10 a.m. Eastern time, just on YouTube. Then Sunday night, we have DTL Primetime Live on Stadium at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Now, before we do the whip around and go through all of our picks, because a lot of you weren't here at 10 a.m. Eastern time, AB, there's a lot of games we've already talked about. But Sunday Night Football is always a focus for us, always a focus. And Cincinnati is a team that before the year, we said they could be a Super Bowl team. They gave it away in overtime to the Ravens. The Giants go to Seattle, and they win by 9 on the road. It's been banana land so far. But the Bengals, is this, if they don't win, season over for Cincinnati?
Oh, it's done. It's absolutely done, especially in that division. I mean, look at it. Like, you think those teams are going anywhere? The Steelers, the Ravens, now the Browns, they're kind of done too. But no, man, it's just you just playing an elimination game at this point. Like, and the part that stinks is the offense is playing great. Joe Burrow's having a fine season. The defense is just decimated, man.
Decimated. You give up 41 to the Ravens, DG, and you get the ball. This is a part, and this is kind of how the game has changed a little bit. And I took flack for this. I said they played for a 53-yard field goal. And I was told, Coach, in today's game, that is a chip shot. And I know it was kind of a bad snap, but they still played for a long field goal. And to me, they could have tried to get a 30-yarder, 40-yarder, but they didn't do that. And then they give the Ravens the ball literally right at the 43-yard line. And it was like 20 yards, game over. And the Bengals right now, to me, look like the Bungles. They haven't even got Jamar Chase in-house. But the Giants have looked pretty good at times. I think we might be sleeping on them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Giants. I don't think they're that good. So let's pump the brakes, as Raphael might say. But I think this will be the lowest watched game maybe of all of Sunday Night Football. I think this could be up there for sure, because I don't know if anybody really thinks that any of these two teams that really just have anything to desire within the Bengals and the Giants. It'll be an ugly game unless they can get Chase to go off. Chase goes off, I think people will tune in.
Well, and that's why Big Cheesy says Daniel Jones is a play. Soupy, let me come over to you, because Sunday Night Football, even though it's 1-4 and 2-3 with 17 games now, neither team is out of this thing, but they need a good performance.
Definitely both teams need a good performance. And I'll tell you what the lowest primetime watch game is. It was the Giants versus the Vikings. Giants were 0-5. Vikings were 0-6. You know why I knew that? Because I was there and it was an awful game. But what the Giants did last week is what they need to do. They need to establish the run. They did that with Tyrone Tracy. I love him. And they didn't make Daniel Jones too much. Kept his passes 10 yards and in to Wan'Dale Robinson. And we, even without Malik Neighbors, they were able to establish that. They need to do that. Try to limit the possessions for the Bengals. They have a great pass rush with Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. If they could get some pressure on Joe Burrow, I think they can win this game, actually.
Well, right now, they're getting 3.5, Charles, at home. That, to me, is also a crazy number.
Oh, yeah, I like the Giants at home catching that 3.5. Plus, I think we're going to see a higher scoring game. So I like points. I look at the Giants team total, but Joey B's been serving up interceptions. Then Malik Neighbors should be coming back. So you can also target him for receptions, yards. So, yeah, definitely like the Giants in the spot. And I think they'll have pretty much some a good support for this game, especially being in the New York market. I am the last game of the day also. So I think we'll have some good eyes on it.
AB, go.
I've got a buddy, man, and we call it the Calvetti Special. That's his last name. He has been playing NFL home underdogs of 3.5 or more. It's all he'll play. It hits it like a 66% clip. Like, it is real. Wow. It is absolutely real.
And there's a few games like that this week that are 3.5 or more. Wow, maybe it's going to be a banana. That's a great stat. 66%, 3.5 dogs or more this year in the NFL, approximately.
Oh, this is over like 20 years. Like,
wow, over 20
years. Yeah. It is a real thing. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, real quick, Mama Mims, she's all over the chat now. We have unleashed a monster in the chat. Can I just say, when I'm holding down the couch or burning dinner, whatever don't is, I'm with you, Mrs. Mama.
Don't test her.
Don't test me at all. All right. We know we're on for an hour. We also understand how the media works and how your viewing works. We don't hide from that. A lot of you weren't here at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's okay. We got you covered. A little something we like to call the whip around. All right, AB, you're going to start us off. You've got a straight parlay in baseball and then a parlay in football that I actually forgot to come back you on. I apologize for that.
No. It's all right. It's all good. All right. So, yeah, we're going to take the Dodgers money line and over 4.5 at -120. And this is the game over 4.5, not the Dodgers team total, both teams. All right. Put those together, -120. Then we're going to go to college football parlay, +100. All three of these games are tonight. Take Utah money line. Going to take UNLV money line. Going to take Maryland money line. Again, all three games tonight. Just win them, +100.
Real quick, Dan says, AB, I can't play the 3-team money line parlay you have because I live in Illinois. Do you have a replacement, perhaps, for Maryland on the money line?
Yeah, you could put the Dodgers, honestly. Like, you could forget about the top part. Or you could play, like, you're going to have enough juice there to where you could just take the total down in the Dodgers-Padres game from like 7.5 to like 5.5, right? Like, you've got options. You just don't have a lot of games tonight, if that makes sense.
Yep. No, it certainly does. 3 big games tonight. There is not another day on the calendar that does not have a football game until the end of November. We're in what we call Christmas season. It's glorious. Now, not for you so much, Big Chuck. We're on an international break, but you found 2 games on the pitch that you still like. You're up.
Ukraine and Georgia, not Kirby's boys, to go ahead and get the both teams to score, which has cashed in 8 of these last 11 combined matches. And Georgia first half team total over half a goal, which they've scored in 6 of 7 first halves and 8 of 10. And once again, this is in the Nations League going off at 2:45 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Now, Big Soup, you got one in football, and then you have one in that pivotal Game 5 tonight in La La Land.
We got to emphasize again, Big Ten teams 1-7 against the spread when they're traveling to 2 time zones, Death Valley to LA for the Nittany Lions. And I love the USC defense. If they make Penn State one-sided, take out Drew Aller and just get Nick Singleton, then they can win this game. And then Padres-Dodgers, all 4 games have been over this line. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game, and I think we're going to see a lot of sparks and the Dodgers win.
Hell, the Dodgers went over this line by themselves in game number 4. All right. He has not lost in several days. Will it happen today or this weekend? We're about to find out. DG, you're up.
Yeah, let's stay hot. Clemson over 7.5. First quarter team total at +110. They score a lot. Wake allows a lot. We're going to go with that. Then DeAndre Swift over 17.5 receiving yards at -110. Playing in London, but he's been cashing this each and every game. And then Jaden Daniels over 224.5 passing yards against a Baltimore team that allows the most passing yards. And our boy, Ray, I got him in the crew exclusive today.
All right. If you're not a crew member, I encourage you to do that. Also, finally, Howie Schwab crew play of the day, AB, is?
The crew is feeling the over. Going with the over in the Padres-Dodgers over 7.5.
All right. That's going to be a big one out here in Los Angeles. Robert says DTL equals money. Big Cheesy, great picks, crew. Let's go. That's the kind of positivity that I want in the universe as we head into a busy weekend in college football, in baseball, in the NFL, all of that. I encourage you to follow us on social media, turn on your notifications, get Amazon Prime, get the Stadium app. We are growing one step at a time. All right. I think that is all the damage that me and the crew can do. Don't forget about DTL. The podcast drops around 2 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. For you crew members, you get the video. But understand this, on a football Friday, there is only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Friday tickets or Saturday or Sunday straight to the pay window. Right, Tire Crew, Lobo, my man from the Dirty Big Chuck, DG, Soupy, AB, producer man, 37,000 feet coming back from vacation. I'm simply the coach. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day. DTL live on Stadium. Good luck.